Hello, my name is Linda Prezioso. I'm a nurse practitioner at Family Medical Center, and tonight we're talking with my dear friend. We've known each other a long time. We've worked together for a long time, and she's an attorney, y'all. She's just moving on up that corporate ladder. I don't know. Anyway, God's called her to be a lawyer. She's also a registered nurse. She's got a whole bunch of letters behind her name. But this is Caroline Cusick Crawford, and she is now working with King Law Firm here in town. She has her own thing on the side, I think. I don't know. But anyway, so she's going to be here tonight. We're going to talk about a couple of things. We're going to talk about end of life and why it's so important for you to have your ducks in a row, so to speak. However, I'm also going to talk about Alzheimer's and dementia and the terrible toll it takes on families. And unfortunately, Caroline knows all about it because her mom has dementia. She's in her last end stages. And how long she had been suffering now? About 5 years? 4 years?
Since about 2015.
Yeah.
So seven years.
7 years. Well,
Yeah.
and I had the privilege of taking care of her mama for a while. She was a stubborn little coot, I'll tell you.
She still is.
She had her mind set on what she was gonna and gonna not do. But anyway, I did have the privilege of knowing both her mom and her dad when mom was still mom. And Caroline's been dealing with this on a personal level, and not only is she losing her mama, but she's watching her daddy suffer because her daddy loves his wife, and it's just a bad situation all along. But anyway, welcome, Caroline. It's so good to see you.
Thank you.
I've
It's
been
good to be here.
scolding her because she's working too much,
Yeah.
but we won't go down that road. So, Alzheimer's disease is kind of a generic catch-all. There's various kinds of dementia, but we're just going to talk about dementia in general. They all are a little bit different in how they manifest, but ultimately it's it's just a slow, gradual decline of mental cognition. You just, first you start and you kind of forget a few things. You might, like my mom had it, and she always baked bread. I mean, she baked bread my entire life. And then all of a sudden she'd forget to put the salt in or something, simple things like that you really don't even think about as being dementia necessarily. Is just, oh, mom had a bad day and she forgot the salt. Then my dad passed away and mom just plummeted. And when I took her to Dr. Dean's, who was the neurologist here in town, he has since retired, but he said, well, a lot of times they've been going through it, but you as a family don't notice it really. And then there's a big stressful event. Like for Caroline's mama, she fell and hit her head, and I think that was kind of the beginning of the end for her.
That was certainly a triggering event.
Right. And so that's when my dad passed, my mom just kind of started spiraling down. So a lot of times we don't even realize it. Like I said, you just think, oh, mom just forgot, she'll be fine. Or, and we all forget things. I mean, I cook and forget the salt, I'm sure, as you do.
Yep.
But, that's kind of that. So dementia has about 7 stages. And, this article says 5, so it's between 5 and 7. But I'm just going to go over those because that will kind of give you an idea of what to look for in your own loved ones if you're kind of thinking that way. Now, if you are one that can't find your glasses because they're sitting on top of your head, or you can't find your keys because you knew you put them down next to the phone in the den and they're in the bedroom on your nightstand, those things are not really, that's just stress from living, and we all get forgetful. I mean, this happened this morning. I was in the bathroom getting ready for work, and I said, oh, I want some more coffee. I walked from my bathroom to the kitchen, which is not a far walk. I thought, now what am I doing in the kitchen? Why am I here? So, but those kind of things, that's just,
That's life.
that's life. That's every day.
That's not
just-
dementia.
Right, right. So, anyway, Alzheimer's, it tends to develop slowly, and it's just continually gradual through the years. And eventually, the dementia will take over most or all of your brain. Memory, thinking, judgment, language, problem solving, personality, and movement can all be affected by the disease. And so we start out, we'll have preclinical disease, then mild cognitive impairment, mild dementia, moderate dementia. I don't know how they come up. What's the crossover between mild and moderate? But anyway, it might say that here.
I know for my own family and watching my mom go through these various stages, there wasn't a defining line.
No,
there would be times that she met criteria in one category and another and maybe a third, and it's just this continuum of being able to recognize that we're moving through the stages by a combination of things, but there wasn't usually a switch where you step
Right.
across the threshold and now you're in another stage.
Yeah, right. It's not, we're in yeah.
We just
yeah.
moved from the bedroom
Right,
to the living
right,
room.
right.
No, it's not that.
Right.
You can't look around and identify it that
Right.
way. But these kind of guidelines really
Just
helped us to
yeah,
know,
right,
you know,
right.
what to expect
Right.
and what things to look for.
And unfortunately, you and your dad are probably pretty experts at this now, aren't you?
After
Yeah.
a little while, yeah.
Yeah. And so, you know, they're now able to identify some of the causes for the dementia. There's a protein called amyloid beta, and that's the hallmark of Alzheimer's disease. But if you can identify these deposits in your brain, it might really, you know, I guess you do that through an MRI. I don't know.
It's a blood test.
Oh, it is a blood test. Well, see? What do I know? And then, really?
I think so.
Amyloid beta? Okay. And so then if they can, you know, as research is starting to pick up these things, then they can develop more and better medicines, because there is really not a good medicine out there. And all it does is kind of halt it a little bit, slow down the progression of the disease. It is not a cure. There is not a cure.
There is no cure. And I know for our family, we're constantly watching the research and watching new developments and wishing there was a cure. And there are experimental things that may help or maybe don't. And we tried a lot of those for Mom early on. We tried a lot of different nutritional things, but they're all experimental, and we don't have a cure. The best you can hope for is to catch things early by knowing what stages to look for.
Right.
Especially in the early stages. That's kind of where the hope is at this moment, that if you can identify things early, that you can make some dietary changes or lifestyle changes and at least delay the later stages.
Get on those meds that they have, which are not all that effective, but it's better than what we had 10 years ago, which was nothing. So, so some of the things in your mild stage that you might start to see with your mom, dad, grandma, wherever you're at. Memory loss of recent events. Now, they're going to remember what happened 30 years ago or 40 years ago, but they're not going to remember that they went to Cousin John's wedding and danced with Uncle Hank. They're probably not going to remember that if that just happened not too long ago. And then you might notice some difficulty with problem solving, complex tasks, sound judgments, and that's where my attorney friend comes in, and we're going to talk about that in a few minutes. Then you might see some changes in personality, things that your mom would never do. I mean, I remember my mom used to start cussing. My mother never said a cross word in her life. My dad, yeah, he had plenty to say, but my mom, no. She was just kind of a pious little Catholic lady, and she just didn't use that language. But boy, she started using it a little bit later on. And then you have difficulty organizing, expressing your thoughts, and I have that problem now, so Lord have mercy. But it's not because of this, it's because I'm a workaholic, just like my friend sitting next to me. And even though I'm saying, you work too much, I work as much as she does, so I can't really say. We just work in, it's different what we do, but we still work too much.
What matters is, when we love what we're doing,
Yes.
it's not so bad.
That's right.
It's a lot of hours.
But it's passion. It's passion.
But when we love what we're doing and we know we're doing what God called us to do,
That's right.
the time goes by very quickly.
Right. Yeah. It does. You're right. And I love what I do, both my practice at Family Medical and my Medi-Spa, which I'll tell you about. It's coming together pretty good. And so then as you move into a more moderate dementia stage, you might show increasingly poor judgment or deepening confusion. They might lose track of who they are, where they are, the day of the week, the season, and they might mistake daughter Jane for daughter Jill. They get them confused. And they'll experience an even greater memory loss, and they might start to need some help with daily activities. I know my mom, she was living with me, and I had 3 kids, and Philip John, my youngest one, I don't think he was even 2 years old. He was still in diapers. And so I'll never forget this, I had him laying on the floor in my mom's bedroom, and I was changing his pants, and Mom went to the bathroom in her pants. And so I said, okay, Mom, just let me finish up with Philip, And I said, you go in the bathroom and, run the water and start to wipe yourself off, and I'll be in there to help you in a minute. And so by the time I got done with Philip and got him a little situated, because he's only a year old, and went in the bathroom, there was my mother crouching under the spigot because she didn't remember how to turn on the shower. So, those kind of things happen. So you might, have to start helping with picking out clothes or getting the pins pulled up or whatever it is. And then it just, it just continues to, you continue to debilitate, you continue to go downhill, and you might forget how to walk, you might forget how to feed yourself, you don't know how to hold a spoon, you don't know how to drink out of a cup, and it can get to be pretty tough I think it's a lot more tough for the family than it is for the patient. I don't think the patient probably realizes how bad off she is. Do you think?
I do.
You do?
I think
You think
she's
your mom
aware.
knows?
I think for people who have dementia, there are a lot of different types, and different parts of the brain are affected for different people. And I think there are times when she is completely aware of what's going on with her body and the situation. There are times when she's not, where she just doesn't have the ability to even stay awake. But unfortunately, I think there are times that she is aware. And I think it for the people who aren't aware of what's going on with them, I think that's a real blessing for the person who's trapped in that broken mind. We think about, if someone has heart problem, it's their heart that doesn't work. Or if they have lung problems or COPD, it's their lungs that don't work, or sometimes your knee or your hip doesn't work, and that's no big deal. But when it's your brain, that's the organ that's failing.
Well, that makes everything else in your body work.
Right.
And so when that goes,
it's very debilitating.
Yes. And my mom eventually, I did the wrong thing with my mother. I did what I thought was the right thing. I didn't intentionally hurt my mom or do the wrong thing. But she died in '89, so this was probably '87, '88, and I was not a nurse. I was still at home raising 3 kids, and she was in the hospital. I don't even remember I think she had aspiration pneumonia, which is something that happens because you don't remember to swallow, you don't know how to swallow, and so you kind of inhale some food or drink, and then it goes down into your bronchial tubes and into your lungs, and you get pneumonia. I think that's what happened. But anyway, so they called and said, well, your mom needs a feeding tube. And so I said, okay. Mm-hmm. That was the absolute worst thing I ever did to my mother. Not intentionally.
Right.
And we're going to talk about why that is in just a minute as well. But, I think it's important for people to be aware of what's going on. It's very hard emotionally to accept that mama isn't the same as she was, all these years taking care of us. And we don't like to accept the fact that our parents are getting older and they're not quite as sharp as they used to be. They're not doing quite as many things as they used to do. And especially if you don't live around your parent and you maybe come home once a year at Christmas or every Easter or something. And so you remember mom from where she was last year. Well, if she's got some kind of dementia going on, she could be an entirely different person even in 6 months that you haven't seen her. And that gets to be really tough emotionally because we want everything done for mama and we want to keep mama and we want mama to be where mama was. And it's just not going to happen. And so we have to be aware of these things and we have to be willing to do what's absolutely right for the patient. And I can tell you that everything that we're going to talk about in a few minutes, I know Caroline's mom and Caroline's dad had it all in place, and Caroline helped her daddy through, all the tough decision making and helped her dad to realize that these are the things that have to be done. So,
I think it's also important to note that my mom talked about these things with us before she got so sick.
Uh-huh.
When she was in the very early stages, she and I had conversations about what she wanted, if this, then what, about what she wanted, what her wishes were, and so she was able to play a part in that because a lot of decisions were made so early that when it came time to appoint who's going to be her power of attorney, she helped pick that. It wasn't that we stepped in and took all that power from her. She was part of that decision-making process.
Mm-hmm. And that's what we're going to talk about. But we're going to take our first break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about power of attorney. And this is a tough show, y'all. This is not a fun show. This is not something that we can feel good and go out and exercise and raise our endorphins. This is not that kind of show. But I am passionate about people knowing what happens and what you need to do to have everything in place so that when it does happen, just like Caroline's mom, she had a say-so when she was still lucid and could make those decisions. They weren't all made that very minute, but she let her family know what she wanted, and then that was able to get in place. So we'll be right back after this break. Don't go away, and we'll see you in just a minute with more of Here's to Your Good Health.
At Down East Hearing Care Associates, we are dedicated to taking care of every client by providing personal, high-quality hearing care services. My staff and I know hearing loss affects each person and their loved ones differently, so we give you the time and the care you need to ensure the hearing technology chosen fits your lifestyle. At Down East Hearing Care, we also make custom ear molds and specialize in emergency hearing aid repairs. Down East Hearing Care Associates has 2 locations, one in Knightdale and one in Rocky Mount. We have hearing lives to save.
Today, some of the world's most advanced orthopedic techniques and technology are available right here in the Twin Counties at UNC Orthopedics at Nash. Our team of specialists offers a full range of orthopedic treatment, including spine services, hip, knee, and shoulder repair, as well as joint replacements and rehabilitation. So don't just live with the pain and immobility. The best care anywhere is close by. UNC Orthopedics at Nash.
Hi, I'm Richard Goss, pharmacist and owner of Almonds Drug Store here in Rocky Mount. Here today with my wife and 2 daughters. For over 75 years, Almonds Drug Store has been the pharmacy of choice for residents of Edgecombe and Nash County. Our family is proud to call Rocky Mount home, and we are excited about the new services and products we are adding daily at both of our Almonds Drug Store's locations and also at our medical supply store.
Come in and see us at Almonds Medical Supply. We're an extension of Almonds Drug Stores, your local hometown pharmacy. We're here to service all your needs, from wheelchairs to walkers to orthopedic supports to compression hose to hard-to-find wound care supplies. And you'll always get that hometown customer service.
We want our patients to pay the best prices, get the best service available, and have a better pharmacy experience than they will get anywhere else. Our staff is committed to going above and beyond to meet our patients' needs. Whether it is working with your provider to get you the best medication at the best price, contacting your provider to get you refills or a prior authorization, or taking the time to review each of your medications with you personally, or perhaps even helping you find an old-time remedy or other hard-to-find items, your Almonds Drug Store staff will work hard to meet your pharmacy needs. At Almonds, we will deliver your prescriptions for free. Both of our stores have drive-through windows, we guarantee short wait times, and our pharmacists will come out to greet you personally and answer any questions you have. If you want to be met with a smiling face, or even want someone to greet you by name when you walk through the doors, we are the pharmacy for you.
Call Almonds Drugs today.
443-3138 or 446-0014.
All right, we're back. This is Linda Prezioso and my friend Caroline Cusick Crawford. She is a registered nurse as well as an attorney, and I'm a registered nurse as well as a nurse practitioner. We've known each other for a long time. And I wanted Caroline to come on tonight because she not only has the medical experience of knowing why we need to make these end-of-life decisions, she has the emotional experience because of her own mother, and now she has the expertise and experience to be able to put all this paperwork together. And I love that she's a nurse because she can tell people what her experiences were in the hospital, why we loathe seeing these people on a vent when they couldn't make up their mind, the family couldn't make up their mind what they wanted to do. I remember I was in the unit and there was a gentleman and there was absolutely no hope for his wife. You know, he had been told by the hospitalists, he'd been told by the nurses, he'd been told by the chaplain, he had been told and told and told. And he kept saying, no, I can't take her off, I can't take her off. And so finally, I don't remember, I think it was the chaplain that talked to him and said, Mr. Smith, why is it that you are holding on to your wife? And he just burst into tears and he said, I don't have the money to bury her. So, you know, there's reasons why we want to get all of our ducks in a row, so to speak. You know, we tend to think that we're going to live forever. We tend to think that I've only been married 20 years, it's going to be another 20, but as evidenced by the front page of the paper yesterday, and today for that matter, a young man who, I think he was only about 30 years old, and he worked for the fire department, and he worked on that QVC fire, and I think he already had, maybe had asthma or something, and then he got a little bit of smoke inhalation, and then he got COVID. And those 3 dings on his lungs, he was not strong enough to you know, get out of it. So a young man has passed away, and he leaves home wife and 3 small boys. So we never know. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I mean, I could get in a car accident on the way home tonight, and that would be it. So Caroline has been a nurse. She worked, how many? At least 20 years at Nash. 26 years at Nash. You got me beat. I only worked 23. I only worked 23.
From 1995 until 2019, however many that is.
I don't know, I can't.
It was a
figure
long time.
She worked there a long time. I worked there a long time. So she has seen, she's seen all the various stages. So I really feel like she is such an expert at this, as much as anybody can be. So what would be your first argument, being as how she's an attorney, she should argue things, right? What would be your first argument for getting well, before we ask that question, what do we need to do to get in place for someone for end of life? What does that mean?
Even if you don't know that you're already at the end of life, some people do. If you know that you've been diagnosed with early Alzheimer's or early dementia, or it runs in your family, the first thing you need to do is go ahead and get in place some legal documents that will help your family to make decisions that you want them to make. Be involved early on and say, okay, if these bad things happen, or when these bad things happen, this is what I want to be done. If I could do it myself, this is what I would do. And you have to write that down, and it has to be put down in a legal document that is binding in our state, or whatever state you move to. You may have to have your documents updated. The documents for North Carolina would be, for the ones that applied during your lifetime, are a health care power of attorney to make health care decisions on your behalf, a general durable power of attorney so that someone can make your financial decisions for you. And that can be as important as, well, if I don't remember when to pay my utility bill, or when to pay the light bill, when to mail off my things that are due every month. You may have someone who forgets or doesn't remember how to write checks anymore, and this gives the general durable power of attorney gives somebody the opportunity and the ability to go to the bank and let the bank talk to you. Otherwise, the bank can't talk to those people. So appointing somebody that you trust in advance to take on that role and take on that responsibility is so important, because then it's not just who the court or the clerk of the court is going to think is the right person, it's going to be who you pick. You may have a family where one of your children who, if your oldest child is not good with money, you may not want them to be your financial power of attorney. I have encountered one family where the person's granddaughter happened to be the most financially responsible person in the bunch. Now, the granddaughter was certainly an adult unto herself. She worked in a bank. She had gone to school and studied accounting, and so the grandparent felt that this, skipping my own children, I want this to be the person who is going to make sure my bills get paid and make sure that all of those things are done the right way. Make sure that my taxes are filed. Filing your taxes is complicated.
Oh, Lord.
And that's not for the faint of heart.
No.
I don't like doing it myself. But to pick the right person, you may have one person in your family who is very tenderhearted and could not make hard medical decisions because it's just not in their soul to make those hard calls.
Right.
And you may have somebody else who you know is up to that challenge. And appointing the right person or asking the right person to do each different role early on, before it's a crisis situation, it makes all the difference.
Yeah, it's just so important. And you know, this is not a competition, you know. I'm the oldest, I should do it. No, it's like Caroline said, you pick who is the most efficient. You know, we all have strengths and weaknesses, and some people, like she said, are stronger and able to make decisions more than others. And you know, Bob was really sick last year in the hospital with COVID, and I totally fell apart. I was terrible. They would call, and I wouldn't talk to anybody. I just couldn't talk to anybody. And so they were all my friends were worried about me, and I said, call Sarah, my daughter. But anyway, you know, sometimes we emotionally can't deal with it.
Right.
And like I had a hard time emotionally dealing with Bob. And part of it was because I was so scared because he was in the hospital. He had COVID. He had already told the doctors, do not intubate me, do not resuscitate me. If I go, that's it. Well, that scared me, even though I knew it was the right thing. You know, I'm a nurse, I know that, but
in that moment of crisis,
Right.
that is not the time
Right.
to be making these decisions.
Right.
The time is in those in-between times, in those ordinary days. The ordinary days are the best time
Right.
to talk to your family about what you want and go ahead and get these documents in place. So during those tough times when somebody's in the hospital, that's not when you're going, well, now what do we do?
Right.
Now-
No,
now
you got to
what?
know before all that. You've
Yes.
got to have that in place.
Yes.
So how do you have paperwork you give people to research, to decide what they want? Do you go over everything with them? Because there's a power of attorney for finances,
Right.
and then
A separate one for health.
right. So you have two powers of attorney, which could be two different people,
It
right?
can be. It could be the same person. It can be two different people. And what happens usually is someone will call up and say, my family is here with me and we want to make a plan for the future. We'd like to talk to somebody about estate planning or getting a power of attorney in place, and we will have a conversation with them about what's going on in their family, talk to them about their family structure, tell them the difference between the different kinds of documents that we prepare, and we can put together a package for them that includes all of these different documents that they might need, both now and sometimes that includes a will or planning for after you die, what's going to happen then as well. And we put this package of documents together, and we're available to answer questions about all of the documents, and we talk to people about their family structure. And there's no one answer that's right for everyone. Everyone's family is a little bit different, and so we customize these documents for power of attorney and healthcare power of attorney, and a HIPAA document, which is a document that allows everyone in your healthcare team to talk to and share information with the people that you pick. And it may not be immediate family that you pick for any of these roles. You could pick, your best friend who lives next door, or, there are a lot of different ways that people choose who is going to be in those roles. But the best way for our practice for people to do that is to call and, make an appointment to talk to somebody, and we'll talk to you through what it is you need and explain why you need it and what use that document is going to be once it's in place. And then one of the last things that I do with folks, once we've got everything drafted and written and they come in and they've signed their documents, then we talk about, okay, now you have all this, what are you going to do with it? Where are you going to put it so people know where to find it at the time that you need it? And good places to store documents. Who needs a copy? Things like that.
Yeah. I'm going to give each one of my kids a copy.
Okay.
And if they don't save it, that's up to them. That's their deal. But and I've talked to my kids some, but you said something earlier about people are not emotionally strong enough to make the right decision. And both of my boys, they're mama's boys. I mean, they loved their mama, and they would have a hard time. My daughter is more like me. She's more matter of fact, and she would be the one that could do it. My husband could do it. I know I can do it for Bob. And Bob and I have talked about this multiple times, and we were so grateful when Bob's dad had all this in place, because he was at the point that they wanted to put a feeding tube in him, and I'm surprised they even still offer that, especially for a 90-year-old man with dementia. But anyway, but my father-in-law had everything in place, and we had a copy, and Bob's sister had a copy, and so when the doctor said to my sister-in-law, we should put a feeding tube in him, she went and got the documents, and I don't know who she talked to, but it was decided that no, Pop said no, and no, we're not going to do that. But it was very hard for her, even though she had all that documentation. But she stuck with it, and abided by what her dad had asked for. And so I think that just makes it easier. In my mind, it makes it easier.
Yes. I think it does for people to, if you don't know what a person would have wanted, to try to imagine what they would have wanted versus to prolong their life at all costs and do everything there is to be done. There's a big gap between all the things that science can do now and what a person might have wanted, or where a person might draw the line. And that the feeding tube that we've come back to is a place that your family drew the line. My mother also drew the line, a very firm line, and she said absolutely no feeding tube. There are a lot of other things that have been done on her behalf and done for her, but we haven't crossed that threshold to have a feeding tube. So.
Right. All right, it's time for our next break. So we're going to come back in a little bit, and then I want Caroline to tell her story of how she evolved from a registered nurse to she's a published author, and she's got articles written in emergency nursing magazines. So her first degree wasn't even in nursing, so she's got quite a tale, and I like her tale, and I like to get to know people and understand from whence they came. So we're going to talk about some of that when we come back. And we are live, by the way, tonight, and it is the 9th of February. So if you would like to give us a call, and it does not have to be about dementia or about the end of life, we can talk about just about anything. So she and I have a lot of expertise in the nursing field, and that's 407-1111. So we'll be right back with more of Here's to Your Good Health. Don't go away.
At Down East Hearing Care Associates, we are dedicated to taking care of every client by providing personal, high-quality hearing care services. My staff and I know hearing loss affects each person and their loved ones differently, so we give you the time and the care you need to ensure the hearing technology chosen fits your lifestyle. At Down East Hearing Care, we also make custom ear molds and specialize in emergency hearing aid repairs. Down East Hearing Care Associates has 2 locations, one in Knightdale and one in Rocky Mount. We have hearing lives to save.
When faced with special care needs for elderly or disabled loved ones, families want compassionate, comforting care. That's Tender Touch Home Care Services' goal, providing the level of care we would expect for our own. With over 10 years of home care excellence, Tender Touch provides an array of services that keeps your loved one at home. From personal care, light housekeeping, errands, and meal preparation, to our private duty care program, which combines all of our home care offerings in one package.
Tender Touch Home Care Services, where your needs are our concern.
Today, some of the world's most advanced orthopedic techniques and technology are available right here in the Twin Counties. At UNC Orthopedics at Nash, our team of specialists offers a full range of orthopedic treatment, including spine services, hip, knee, and shoulder repair, as well as joint replacements and rehabilitation. So don't just live with the pain and immobility. The best care anywhere is close by. UNC Orthopedics at Nash.
Hi, I'm Richard Goss, pharmacist and owner of Almonds Drug Store here in Rocky Mount. Here today with my wife and 2 daughters. For over 75 years, Almonds Drug Store has been the pharmacy of choice for residents of Edgecombe and Nash County. Our family is proud to call Rocky Mount home, and we are excited about the new services and products we are adding daily at both of our Almonds Drug Store's locations and also at our medical supply store.
Come in and see us at Almonds Medical Supply. We're an extension of Almonds Drug Stores, your local hometown pharmacy. We're here to service all your needs, from wheelchairs to walkers to orthopedic supports to compression hose to hard-to-find wound care supplies. And you'll always get that hometown customer service.
We want our patients to pay the best prices, get the best service available, and have a better pharmacy experience than they will get anywhere else. Our staff is committed to going above and beyond to meet our patients' needs. Whether it is working with your provider to get you the best medication at the best price, contacting your provider to get you refills or a prior authorization, or taking the time to review each of your medications with you personally, or perhaps even helping you find an old-time remedy or other hard-to-find items, your Almonds Drugstore staff will work hard to meet your pharmacy needs. At Almonds, we will deliver your prescriptions for free. Both of our stores have drive-through windows, we guarantee short wait times, and our pharmacists will come out to greet you personally and answer any questions you have. If you want to be met with a smiling face, or even want someone to greet you by name when you walk through the doors, we are the pharmacy for you.
Call Almonds Drugs today.
443-3138 or 446-0014.
Hello and welcome back. So we're just going to kind of take a trip down memory lane a little bit, and Caroline, I just asked her if she would kind of give an overview of how she got where she is today, because you know we all travel down roads. You tend to look at somebody and say, well, you got it made, you're a nurse practitioner, you've got a great husband, you got a great family, and all that's true. But I walked down plenty of different difficult roads, and so has Caroline. We all have a story. So I just wanted her to tell her story a little bit, because she's been on several times. She's a dear friend to me, and I hope she is to you as well. So Caroline, go.
Oh my goodness. Well, I was born a long time ago. No, just seriously. I have traveled through several different stages of adulthood and careers, as Linda mentioned. The first time I went to college was to East Carolina a long time ago. I studied journalism and communications and became a writer. I worked for the local newspaper, which is how I ended up in Rocky Mount, and been here ever since.
I didn't know you worked for the Telegram?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Ain't that something?
I was an editor and reporter and did a lot of different things for the Telegram.
Really?
And then, I went from there to eventually went to nursing school, and from nursing school went to the emergency room at the hospital and worked there consistently for many, many years. And then moved through the emergency room. This is the abbreviated version.
Oh yeah,
for sure. But moved through the emergency room to departmental leadership and quality, to hospital-wide quality projects, and then from quality and compliance positions, realized I need to know more about the law to be able to know how do we even comply with the law. How do you know what the hospital needs to do to comply?
But you loved that job, didn't you?
I did.
You liked that job.
I did. That was
And what
a lot of
happened?
fun.
Why did that position get disbanded, or what happened?
Well, I left to go to law school thinking that I would eventually come back and pick up where I'd left off in compliance and quality in the hospital. And by the time I got through law school, that wasn't an opportunity anymore. Mm-hmm. And God closed some doors and opened some different doors, and I ended up practicing as I am now. And right now I focus a lot on real estate and help people with a lot of different things that they need. But working in a legal practice, and I had my own legal practice for 2 or 3 years, and now have joined King Law Firm. And I just really enjoy being a part of that team and moving forward. So I've gone from being a journalist to being a nurse for a long time, to studying law, and now everything that I learned in all of those different careers and different stages of professional life all come together, and I use all of those things and all of those experiences every day. In dealing with people and helping them work through the challenges that they've had.
Mm-hmm. I think that's what makes you a good, not only were you a good nurse, but you're a good attorney too, because you understand, you know, I was talking to a young lady today in the office, and I said, there's a reason why God is still using me when I'm an old fat grandma. And because I've walked down lots of roads, mm-hmm. and I talked to one lady, and I was discussing what I thought was going on with her, and she said, "You have hit the nail on the head." And I said, "'Cause I've been in your shoes."
That's right.
So you use the experiences that you have to assist and help others in their in their life. And so that, I love my job.
I do too. I love my job. It's fun.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So how long did it take you to go to law school?
Law school is a 3-year program. It's 3 years of full-time,
Intense.
very, very full-time study, and then a summer of very, very full-time preparation for the bar exam. So,
And that's a pretty tough exam.
yes, yes. We call that bar summer because you have
Bar summer.
3 years of school and you study and work hard for 3 years, and then there's that summer after school until you take the bar, and that just pushes the whole thing to a whole new level. And I really enjoyed law school. I did not enjoy bar summer. Bar summer that's a whole new level of hard. But we got through it, and so
And in the
hopefully if I
meantime,
don't change states, I won't have to do it again.
oh, please don't change states. Stay right here.
Yeah.
In the meantime, she met a fabulous man, and they got married in the middle of law school.
Yeah.
And he was living where, in Fayetteville or
Kinston.
And she was in Raleigh at that time because her campus was in Raleigh.
Yep.
She went to Campbell, but it was the Raleigh campus. She didn't have to go down 95. And so I don't even know how they ever, I think they just kind of waved at each other on 95. Love you, honey, I'll see ya.
Yeah.
But, so she got married in that mix of studying and becoming the woman that she was going to become. And I remember praying with her, and she'd say, I don't know if I'm doing the right thing. We shouldn't do this. What if I don't get a job? What if, we all what ifs. We all do that. And so, there's a group of 6 of us that have worked together, loved each other, been friends for years and years, and we get together periodically. And so we would pray for each other, and we'd pray for her, and God's going to get you through this, Caroline. He hasn't brought you this far to dump you. You're going to get through it. And she went down a couple of roads, even looking, she had her own law firm, and that's pretty tough. And any time you start something new, it can be tough. And then she had a little stint in, was it Durham, that firm you worked for?
I worked as what they call of counsel with a firm out of Durham, and that means that you're not full-time with them, you're not a permanent employee of theirs, but you work with them as an affiliate. And I was able to do that and learned a whole lot about estates, and not just the planning part, which is what we're talking about, but once a person has died, then what? How do you take all of their life and put it together in a document package that you can submit to the clerk or the court in that county and close their estate? How, what do you do after a person dies? And we found that through that learning process of working with that other firm, I've learned about, how to progress a person's estate, whether they had a will or didn't, from not just planning for the inevitable when we all pass away and we all die, but what happens after that. And it's by far much easier to submit everything through probate if someone has a will and has planned than if they had nothing in
What
place.
if they didn't have anything? What happens to their stuff?
A person gets appointed to be the administrator of the estate. And
How does that happen?
someone steps in and says, I'm willing to do the job, or the clerk of court in the estates division will appoint someone. Sometimes they appoint a person who's a relation, a relative, someone there's a criteria of who they go to first, who do they go to second, who do they go to third, and they can pick a family member, a friend, a neighbor, and if there's no one available who can do it, then the court will appoint someone, and they may appoint somebody who's just an impartial stranger to you to administer your estate and collect all of your assets and put all that together and disperse what you left behind.
So what happens with all that? I know you said it gets dispersed, but I just think that if you can make your own wishes and say, I want my son to have this and I want my daughter to have that. Otherwise, what, the family just fights over it?
There are statutes that tell the administrator how to divide things if there wasn't a will. And they may have to take everything and sell it to pay the bills. They may have to, after they've paid bills, they may have a lot left over or a little left over. Whatever is left over has to be divided a certain way. And there are laws in the state of North Carolina that tell us exactly how that has to be done.
Wow. All right, tell everybody how to get a hold of you.
I am at King Law Firm in Rocky Mount, North Carolina, and you can find us by going to Google and typing in King Law Firm. Locally, if you need to reach us in our office, the phone number locally is 252-443-1960. Or, if you just type in King Law Firm to any search engine, it will take you right to us.
Awesome. And what are your hours?
Normal hours for answering the phone anyway. I happen to work a lot of hours, but enjoy what I do. And if you reach out to us in the evenings or when we're not there, we do our very best to return phone calls very quickly.
Okay, so you're what, like from 9 to 5, your business hours?
Right, it's normal business hours. They've got my email address on the screen. You can always email us at King Law Firm as well. And we're happy to help in any way we can. And if I am, am not able to help you, we have such a great team with King Law Firm of different people who have dedicated their lives to different areas of law, whether it's elder law or real estate or family or planning, planning for your estate, planning for the future. And so I can certainly put you in touch with someone, if it's not myself, someone with our team who works specifically in the area of law.
Because law is like medicine. There's all different.
Right. You may have a problem with your foot. You don't need a cardiologist.
Right. Right.
You may need a podiatrist.
Right.
And we have that in
law
as well. We have folks that specialize in personal injury and lots of different areas as well.
Yep. If you break your foot, you don't need a cardiologist.
That's right.
I tell everybody that I'm a jack of all trades and a master of none, and I always send my folks to the masters when I think that they will benefit from that expertise. Sometimes it makes me a little mad that, we got one doctor for this and one doctor for this and one doctor for that, and the only adhesive, the only together is the family medical doctor. And so, I was talking to a patient today, and she was on 2 different kind of blood thinners, and I said, well, I don't think you're supposed to be on Coumadin and on, was it Eliquis? I don't know, one of those. And she said, well, you write for the Coumadin. And I said, wait a minute. No, I didn't start you on all this Coumadin. And so now, because she's been so sick and she's got a nephrologist, she's got a cardiologist, she's got a neurologist, she's got an ologist on top of the ologist. And so now I'm going to have to sort through all of that document to find out why she started on Coumadin. Because her cardiologist, she said, put her on the Eliquis. She had a cardiac event. But see, because that doc wasn't really paying attention or communicating with the other doc that started the Coumadin, now we got a lot of blood thinner, and that can be very dangerous. So sometimes I get upset that we can't do it all, but I can't do it all. I now know that. So,
and you don't want to do it all. You want to have that cardiologist to be the expert in that particular field. When you need someone who's well trained and that's all that they focus on, they've dedicated their life to that.
Right.
And in the practice of law, it's the same.
Right.
Where if you need someone who's going to help you with a personal injury, you want somebody who has done lots of personal injury claims, knows how to navigate through that. If you want somebody who is going to help you effectively transfer a house from one person to another, you need somebody who knows how to do that.
Right.
And the person who's an outstanding practitioner for bankruptcy or personal injury may not know all the nuances
That's right.
of
And they
another
don't-
field.
And you don't keep up with all of the current
They're just-
changes either, because you can't do it all.
Right. We would love to, but there aren't enough hours in the
Right,
day
right.
to stay abreast of all of the changes and everything that we need
That's
to know
right.
in every area. So we specialize, and then we collaborate and we work together as a team so that we can point people in the right direction.
Right. All right, that's our show for tonight. I'm so glad that you were with us, and we will see you next week. We're going to be talking with a lady that, what does she do? She
We started
is,
out the show talking about Alzheimer's.
yeah, there you go, see?
What does she do?
No, she's with the American Heart Society, and she is the regional director for this region. And so we're going to talk about heart health and why we should keep our money in Nash County versus putting it all in the full United States, and so I think she's going to be good. She's cute, she's young. I hate sitting next to people that are cute and young because it makes me look even fatter and older, but that's okay because I love my Caroline. So good night, everybody. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week with more of Here's to Your Good Health. Good night.